What's going on? YouTube, listen up. Young Elder Gang. This is Ted Strokes at you with another banger. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video, fam. I hope this video get at least 100,000 likes in this video. You will find history definitions, scripture information, and best of all, what we Americans have been deprived of from the beginning. The truth, keep in mind, this content used in this video is intended for entertainment, educational and informational purposes only, and is not a substitute for legal advice. It is recommended to consult with a qualified attorney regarding any legal issue. We will give you the total truth as we best understand it today. Be sure to hit that like button, Young Elder Gang, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, hit that bell, and don't forget to check back with us every day for new content. The sales pitch is slick, promising a world without friction. No more wallets, keys, or paperwork, just seamless travel, instant healthcare, effortless payments, all your identity condensed into a digital token, on your phone or under your skin. They call it progress. But behind closed doors, it's about control. The velvet glove of convenience tightens into an iron fist. The price is your freedom. The National Real ID mandate took full effect on May 7, 2025, at which point a Real ID-compliant driver's license or another acceptable form of identification was required to board domestic flights and enter certain federal facilities. The deadline was extended multiple times, but now it is set to enforce federal standards for identification. Let's break down the technology. Digital ID systems are centralized databases linked to a unique identifier for every citizen, often a cryptographic key tied to your biometrics. Your phone becomes your passport, wallet, and key, communicating with readers via NFC or QR codes. It's fast, efficient, user-friendly at first, but the real endgame is the microchip implant, a tiny RFID chip under your skin, activated by specialized readers. It links your body to your digital record, an inseparable connection. They tout security, end-to-end encryption, blockchain, biometric authorization. But the truth? A centralized database is a single point of failure. A breach isn't just a credit card leak, it's an extinction-level event for privacy. Unhackable is a myth. Every system has vulnerabilities. What happens when the encryption is cracked or a corrupt insider sells access? The security of digital ID is a gilded cage, strong on the outside, but designed to keep you in. The biggest threat isn't hackers, it's the system itself. Once your identity is digital, it's never truly yours again. The more complex the system, the more hidden the risks. The more you trust it, the more you're trapped. The promise of safety is the pretext for total control, and the cost is your autonomy. Privacy won't vanish overnight, it'll erode, bit by bit. Every use of your digital ID leaves a footprint: time, place, activity. Alone, these are harmless. Together, they reveal your life, habits, routines, relationships. This data is gold for corporations and governments. Your transaction history builds a profile. Your location data is sold and analyzed. You become the product. In a world of mandatory digital IDs, anonymity is a crime. Attending a protest? Everyone is scanned. Posting dissent online? Your handle is linked to your ID. The chilling effect is real. People self-censor, afraid to be flagged. Abuse isn't a possibility, it's inevitable. Miss a tax payment? Your transport is suspended. Attend a protest? Your bank account is frozen. The digital ID becomes a leash. Granular control, instant punishment, no due process. This isn't law enforcement, it's social engineering. The system is designed to monitor, nudge, and control. Freedom is replaced by compliance. The architecture is a digital dictatorship. The more you use it, the more it uses you. The promise of safety is the pretext for surveillance, and the cost is your liberty. Australia is a testing ground for digital control. MyGovID links government services to a single digital identity, sold as efficiency, but it's surveillance. Next, integration with state services, then private sector adoption, banks, airlines, retailers. Every transaction, every movement, every interaction logged and linked. The push for a cashless society means every dollar is tracked. Anonymity disappears, oversight becomes total. Resistance is hard, public trust in government is high, and warnings are dismissed. The challenge is to show how convenience becomes control. Australia risks trading liberty for ease, and ending up with neither. The sunburnt country is becoming a sunburnt panopticon. The UK has long resisted ID cards, but the government hasn't given up. Now it's a digital identity trust framework. The same plan, new disguise. Private companies offer digital IDs, but all plug into a government-controlled backend. The NHS is the Trojan horse. COVID passes normalized digital credentials. Next, a comprehensive NHS digital identity, required for healthcare access. Once everyone's enrolled, function creep begins. Police, immigration, welfare agencies all demand access. The system to manage your health becomes a system to manage your life. Civil liberties are eroded in the name of public health and safety. The UK, proud of its freedoms, is sleepwalking into a surveillance state. The digital leash is forged link by link until escape is impossible. The illusion of choice hides the reality of control. The chains are digital, but the loss is real. In the US, federal digital ID faces resistance, so the strategy is slow standardization. The Real ID Act was step one. Now, mobile driver's licenses are rolling out state by state. Big tech is building the infrastructure. Apple, Google, and others. Soon, digital ID will be required for social media, gig work, banking, every aspect of life. Deplatforming won't just mean losing an account, it could mean losing your place in society. The American dream was about starting over. A permanent digital record makes that impossible. Every mistake, every offense, follows you forever. Algorithms will judge your worthiness for credit, insurance, jobs. The land of the free risks becoming the land of the permanently categorized. The dream is deferred by a computer that never forgets. A digital ID chip could be seen as the mark of the beast if its implementation fulfilled specific criteria described in the Book of Revelation, particularly the elements of mandatory universal adoption, control over commerce, and requiring a public display of allegiance to a tyrannical global system. The core ideas connecting a digital chip to the mark of the beast come from a literal interpretation of Revelation 13:16-17, which states that no one could buy or sell without the mark on their right hand or forehead. In a way, a digital ID chip could be seen as fulfilling this prophecy in several ways. Governments and global organizations could promote a digital ID chip as a convenient and secure way to access services, travel, and conduct financial transactions. Over time, this system could become mandatory for all citizens, eliminating alternative forms of identification and payment. A global beast power could enforce a rule that only those with the digital ID chip are allowed to buy or sell. This would create a dystopian reality where anyone who refuses the chip is unable to work, use a bank, or purchase food and other necessities, isolating them from society. With a digital chip that controls access to finances, healthcare, and travel, a powerful global entity could monitor and control every aspect of a person's life. This level of surveillance and control would allow the beast to punish dissenters and enforce total allegiance. In this scenario, receiving the chip would not just be a practical matter, but a public declaration of allegiance to the global system and the Antichrist who controls it. Refusing the chip, even if it leads to economic and physical hardship, would be the only way for the faithful to demonstrate their loyalty to God, which is really the soul within you. Whether the mark is a literal chip or a symbolic identifier, the crucial element in the Book of Revelation is the intent behind receiving it. The mark signifies a deliberate choice of allegiance to the Antichrist and his worldly system over loyalty to you. And this choice has spiritual consequences. The primary methods would rely on a gradual erosion of privacy through convenience, leveraging a societal crisis to accelerate adoption, and implementing top-down government mandates, a crisis-driven rollout. Exploit a severe, widespread societal crisis to gain public support for a solution that requires chipping for implementation. A pandemic or bioterrorism event. The crisis could involve a highly contagious or lethal pathogen. The justification: the chip is marketed as a health and safety measure, storing vital medical information, vaccination status, or detecting health metrics in real time. Public health officials frame the chip as the only way to safely return to pre-crisis life, allowing movement and commerce to resume. A financial collapse or hyperinflation event. An economic crisis could provide another avenue. The justification: the chip is presented as a replacement for physical currency, tied to a new, secure digital-only currency. It would be pitched as a stable and unforgeable system to protect against fraud and theft. Government officials blame the collapse on old financial systems and frame the chipped currency as the only way to restore economic stability and provide universal basic income. Economic and social pressures. Even without a full government mandate, chipping could be normalized through a system of carrots and sticks. Non-chipped individuals would be denied access to banking and other financial services. All transactions would require the chip, making it impossible to buy or sell without it. The chip could be required by all major employers for access to workplaces, logging hours, and payroll. This would be framed as a matter of security and efficiency, making unchipped people unemployable. Early adopters could be incentivized with enhanced access to daily life. The chip would serve as a key, a wallet, an ID card, and a transit pass. Over time, physical alternatives would be phased out. Key public services could become conditional on having a chip. Access to healthcare, public transport, or even government buildings might be denied without a chipped ID. Significant public resistance would be expected, but a hypothetical government could attempt to neutralize it through several measures. Divide and conquer. Authorities could frame resistors as a threat to public health or economic stability. Resistors might face social ostracism or be designated as dangerous to the community. Preemptive bans repealed. Current laws in many U.S. states that ban mandatory chipping would need to be overturned under the pretense of national security or emergency powers. Through controlling media narratives and suppressing dissent, authorities would promote pro-chip messaging while censoring counter-arguments. The technology itself might be vulnerable. In a real-world scenario, issues like hacking, function creep, using data for new, unauthorized purposes, and potential health risks would be major hurdles. The shift would lead to a society where human identity is intrinsically tied to a piece of corporate or government-controlled hardware. This loss of autonomy could be masked by the promise of security and convenience. The short timeline for universal adoption would require a combination of crisis, intense pressure, and an aggressive, coordinated rollout. 2026, crisis and voluntary adoption. An emergency is declared, leading to initial, voluntary adoption by early adopters enticed by convenience or government aid. 2027, normalization and incentives. The benefits of chipping are publicized, and a new digital-only currency is launched, accessible only via the chip. Non-chipped people face increasing difficulty in daily life. 2028, mandatory implementation. Legislation is passed making the chip mandatory for all citizens over a certain age. Non-compliance results in loss of access to all critical services. 2029, enforcement. Final deadlines are enforced, with severe penalties for non-compliance, creating a two-tiered society where the chipped have full rights and the unchipped are essentially second-class citizens. 2029 isn't arbitrary. It's the endgame of a slow, deliberate process. We're the frogs. The water is the gradual rollout of digital ID. It started with optional conveniences, banking apps, TSA PreCheck, loyalty cards. We learned to love the digital leash. Now, governments push their own ID apps, making old methods slow and frustrating. Adoption is voluntary, but only technically. The final stage mandate justified by crisis, cyber attacks, pandemics, terrorism. By then, most will already be on the system. The infrastructure will be ready, the public conditioned. The last step, make it illegal to operate outside the system. No work, banking, travel, or food without a state-approved digital identity. The frog is boiled, not by force, but by slow, relentless heat. The process is nearly complete. The time to jump is running out. The choice is slipping away. Resisting a pervasive system isn't about grand gestures. It's about survival, friction, and persistence. Start with awareness. Educate yourself and others about what's at stake. Opt out where possible. Use cash, avoid loyalty cards, support privacy-respecting businesses. Every cash transaction is a vote for privacy. When stores go cashless, take your business elsewhere and tell them why. Use privacy tools, browsers, VPNs, alias emails. Pollute the data stream. Give minimal info, select random options, create digital camouflage. Make their profiles less accurate, less valuable. Sabotage the surveillance machine with noise. Support alternative, decentralized technologies, open source projects, mesh networks, federated social media. Build and use platforms outside corporate and government control. These are digital lifeboats in the coming storm. It's not about hiding. It's about building a world where you don't have to hide. Defend your autonomy, one act at a time. Resistance is decentralized, personal, and persistent. Every small act matters. The system thrives on compliance. Starve it with defiance. The future is built by those who refuse to surrender. The future of 2029 isn't inevitable, it's a choice. The myth of technological determinism is their most powerful lie. Technology is a tool. It can build prisons or tear them down. We must demand a digital bill of rights. Anonymity, data ownership, the right to be forgotten, the right to disconnect. These rights must be law, not just terms of service. Digital identity systems must be decentralized, user-controlled, open source. The user should hold the keys, not the state, not corporations. We must reclaim our agency as citizens, not just consumers. Get involved, politically, locally, globally. Support advocacy groups, demand action from leaders, make your voice heard. We cannot be spectators in the construction of our own digital prison. The path isn't to reject technology, but to master it. The battle for 2029 is for the soul of the 21st century. Centralized control or decentralized freedom, the choice is ours. The elites have a plan, but it's not yet complete. We still have time to write a different ending.